Auburn basketball takes down Mississippi State by the score of 69-63. It's time for another post-game reaction show. We're going to break down all the stats and the storylines here right now on E2C Network Live. War Eagle, and welcome back. Whether you are watching live, whether you are watching on the replay, we appreciate you being here, hanging out with us, talking about something in the Auburn family spectrum here on E2C Network Live. As I said, this is a post-game reaction show. We're going to talk about it all. What an exciting game it was. Really, when I said the score at the beginning of this, it should have been Jalen Williams 69, Mississippi State 63. Because, man, what a game from number 2. We will talk all about that, all about the frustrating into it as well, and anything and everything in between. But to get us started tonight, I want to do this like we always do on every live stream right now in the chat, whether you are watching on Facebook, whether you're watching on Twitter, whether you're watching in any of those formats on the replay. Right now, collectively, smash the like button. It does help us out. Helps people know to come on over here, hang out with us, and be part of our little family within the Auburn family. And right now, I'd love to know who's watching. So post where you're watching from. This is your check-in period, your city, your state, international, however you'd like to. Even you Mississippi State fans, if you're out there, let us know that you're here too. All right, let's get into it. How this normally works for those of you that may be new. We're going to operate a lot off of y'all's comments. This is a reaction show, my reactions, y'all's reactions. I take some notes throughout the game, some storylines, and then we'll walk through the stats at the end. But chances are we're going to hit a lot of those tonight. We got Devin, Rise Life, and W checking in. Thanks for being here. Drip Edits is here. Brian, Leighton, Cal. Wow, a good crowd tonight. So many people that I regularly see here, but even some faces we haven't seen in quite some time. I'm going to leave this one up here for just a while. Devin knows me well enough to know that I am a Jalen Williams fan. We're just going to leave that up, that comment up. Nobody else can come up for it. I'm just kidding. We'll bring up the other comments up. But Jalen Williams is that guy. That is it. That's the tweet. That's the post. That's the only thing that needs to be said tonight. This guy has paid his dues, and this guy is that guy tonight. Jalen Williams, you are the man. I love me some Jalen Williams. I didn't expect to get that all hyped up about it this early, but here I am. Man, look, every basket that went down for Jalen Williams tonight, I just got more and more excited. I couldn't believe it. And every beautiful pass he was making. Now, look, his game wasn't a without blemish tonight. He fouled out after all. He turned the ball over a couple times, but man, did he show up for his team on a night where you really need him to. Gosh. I mean, I could sit here probably just the entire night and talk about how much I love Jalen Williams, but I know that would be a boring show. Leighton says, great win. Talk about an amazing game from both Jalen and Flanagan. The crazy stat for the night is Mississippi State is going 0-18 from the three-point land, which is absolutely brutal. You would think they lost by 20. Now, let me make sure that is correct. That is correct. 0%. Listen, it'd be one thing if this was a team that didn't shoot free throws hardly ever and they went 0 for 10 on the night, but 0 for 18. That doesn't happen, which is also equally scary, mind you. What happens if they do make them? What happens if they make 5 of them tonight? And at that point, they're shooting what? Probably 20% on the night? No, actually, I'm doing quick. Yeah, under 30%. This could be a different story in this game. They could have gotten the win off of that alone. So that should tell you that this is a solid win for Auburn at home. It makes you wonder what happens, in a return trip to Mississippi State. I don't think we go there this year, but that's a scary reality to kind of wrestle with too. So just think about that. But 0% from three-point land. If you had told me that Janai Broome would have as few stats as he normally does, that neither team would shoot a free throw in the first half, that they would go 0 for on the three-point arc, that being Mississippi State, I would have laughed at you. That's some incredible things happening in this game. Yes, they did get all of the offensive rebounds, points in the paint, all that kind of stuff. So that is what kept them here. That goes to show you that this Mississippi State team is a solid team, because when one of their issues is happening that night, that being 3-point shooting, the other parts of their game are helping compensate almost enough to win, at least at the end of the game there. Forgot to mention this at the start. If you are a Booster Club member, you can call in tonight. You guys have the link in the Patreon app. I'm not going to put the ticker up there anymore just because I don't feel like it tonight, but you guys know that y'all have the link over there. I usually put it over there for you on the reaction show. So if you'd like to call in, please do. Lynn says E2C. That's me. Well, I'm Kyle, but we are E2C. We are all E2C. The game should have not been that close. We were really sloppy, especially at the end there. You cannot be fouling that much at the end of the game. If you're going to be fouling that much at the end of the game, you will almost give them an opportunity to come back and win this thing, which was very frustrating to watch. They're the ones that are supposed to be fouling to extend game time, not you. Giving themselves more opportunities to win the game, not you. That was a little bit frustrating. Jalen had 13 of the first 15 points and went 5 of 6 in his first 6 baskets. Absolutely outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. Unbeaten Lake, the SEC network tried so hard to jinx our home win streak. After every commercial break, they would talk about the win streak and the other upsets. Yeah, well, and to their credit, they are storytellers. They have to do a job. So it's not like they were trying to do that, but it raises the stakes of the broadcast if there's something to lose. And if you really nail it home, and there was something to lose tonight. 27-game winning streak, now a 28-game winning streak going into this. We asked the question, we did a live stream in the morning times, what we've been doing on Good Morning Auburn, where we asked the question, does Auburn more deserving of respect, especially this season, in home court advantage? And that is clearly the case with the second longest home win streak in college basketball right now. Let's see. Let me scan down here a little bit. Fouls and turnovers in the second half were dumb. They were. The great thing is we did a lot of other good things to kind of negate those things. But boy, again, the question you ask yourself, if they, meaning Mississippi State, or shoot a little bit better from the 3-point arc, this gets really, really scary for a little bit while there. We have to work on inbounding and transitioning up the court when pressured. I swear that Wendell Green is our only ball handler. So we actually do traditionally a really good job inbounding the ball. And that's one of the things that you'll see TV commentators really harp on. They always have their big story points they hit. And I agree with that. Bruce Pearl is very good at diagramming inboundings. Now, he may be better at like the sideline inbounding, or he may be better at the baseline inbounding, which is where I think he probably finds some of his strengths. But maybe that wasn't as good tonight, but obviously it didn't matter in the end. Now, we have seen this previously this season, where they started double teaming us right up there at the half court mark as soon as our ball handler, usually Wendell Green, comes up. Wendell is pretty good at handling that pressure. If anybody else gets caught in that mess, it can be a little bit suspect. So that can get a little bit scary too. But thankfully, again, you're going to hear me say this a lot tonight. Didn't matter in the end of that. Very good acting tonight. Are you talking about flopping? Saw a lot of people ranting and raving about that. I'm not going to disagree at all, but we do it too. Wendell's very good at selling things a lot of the time, and that's the art of being a good point guard and a good guard. Got to learn how to sell the foul sometimes. Yes, Yahari, we've been missing you. I know we haven't seen you lately, so I'm glad to have you back in the fold here. Hopefully we'll see you around some more. So it's a tale of two halves, right? All the hype, all the great things happening in the first half and the second half too. But it was Jalen Williams' story, and for the most part in the second half too, until he started getting some foul trouble himself. And then Wendell Green came in and saved the day, which is what he does. I continue to ask the question, when we talked about this team earlier in the season, outside of Janai and Wendell, what happens when somebody else starts stepping up? How deadly does this team become? You've seen that happen with Jalen consistently. You've seen that happen with Allen now several games in a row. You're starting, and now hear me, folks. I'm not saying that KD is back, that KD's doing things that he needs to do. He's still KD Johnson. KD Johnson's going to KD Johnson. He's our little freak, or what do they call it? Psycho. I think we are very close to having KD Johnson get himself figured out, and we're going to be real good when that happens, especially if the other two guys, Allen and Jalen, keep doing what they're doing. Combine that with Janai, and then everybody else on the bench can pretty much contribute in their own way. Even Leor Berman, incredible. Kyler, you still worried about UT? They got beat by Kentucky. I still am. I'm worried about anybody in the SEC this year, just because of how crazy it's been. Yeah, Jeff, it's tough out there watching Trey Orr because, unfortunately, I think, and this was a lot of fan doings, put a lot of expectations and pressure on it. And I'm not saying he's folding under that. I think we built up these expectations that he was going to come in. There were people legitimately thinking and saying he was the next Jabari Smith. It was not the case. I mean, or at least to start off with. Not everybody gets off to a hot start like Jabari Smith. So you just have to kind of do what you get the minutes you can and try your best, and see what happens. The no call on the over and back surprised me. There was a sequence of about 5 minutes, maybe 2 to 3 minutes where I really questioned what the refs were looking at on both sides of the ball. On both sides. That is not me trying to protect Auburn. That's me saying Mississippi State had some calls or non-calls or whatever that were just foots were stepped on lines, overs and over and backs, charges. There was a sequence there where you saw SEC refs do what they do best. Make you mad. Let's see. I thought it was funny when they put up the Battle of the Bigs comparison, and it was a Battle of the Guards tonight. J-Dub for the player of the game, no doubt. Are we even going to argue this point tonight, folks? Are we going to argue this point? Is it just Jalen Williams? I mean, listen, Wendell Green came on and said, you know what? I got to do something about this. So he makes a case for himself, but I think it's a Jalen Williams night, my friends. Is it not? Can we all agree on that player of the game? I am super mad at all of y'all that have free Mama G's now. Apparently, it's when they miss 2 free throws in a row, right? I need me some Mama G's. That made me so hungry. Shane, good to see you. What's going on with Flanigan's decision-making? I don't know, but at the same time, I'm not super mad at him because he is getting himself, at least offensively, in the right mind, which is what we really needed more than anything. We needed someone alongside Wendell and alongside Janai to step up offensively. Jalen's done that. Flanigan's now doing that. Listen, if this is what it takes to get him to this point, him being a little bit more sloppy, and I know that's kind of oxymoronic to talk about, I will take it because that's what you need right now with a team that has struggled offensively, especially on the road. What happens if this game is on the road and Janai has a game like he did, where he scores very little points? It's up to Wendell, based on how the rest of the season has gone. So I agree with you that sometimes you look at Flanigan and go, is he trying too hard? All that kind of stuff. But then I'm like, nah, just let the boy cook for a little bit. See what he can pull off. I like where we're at with him right now compared to where we were. Let's see here. Alabama's the best team. Well, I think we can honestly say that right now. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens, right? Are there any memes tonight? I haven't looked because I'm here with you guys. We have a really good person here on the chat, Devin, who will keep us usually up to date on that. So she'll probably, there it is, 2:03 and 16 minutes. That's a little disappointing. I haven't put mine on the post-game tweet yet, but we shared it out on social media. Just, a little Thanos action with Jalen Williams on there. Pretty much the entire SEC is really good this year, it seems. And I would make arguments that it was very competitive the last few seasons too, but this year, the more and more we play and watch SEC games, the more you're like, whoa, this is not how I saw this going. I saw that going differently in my head. Broome was double teamed a lot. Not much he could do this game, but let Williams, Flanagan, and Wendell eat. And I agree. But see, that's exactly what you want to have happen. Whether it's a bad night, whether it's because you got double teamed, and one of your best scorers, Janai Broome, barely sees any statistical action tonight, you have the other one step up. That's what you have to happen, especially in a team that struggled offensively like Auburn has. Because Georgia is winning, the better that loss is. Absolutely it is. Absolutely it is. Okay. All right. I've caught up with most of y'all's comments. Keep them coming. Let me go through my list of stuff that I always like to have on hand just so that we can make sure we hit all the highlights tonight. Let's see here. Defensive efficiency. I'll have to look at the stats when we come back to that. I wrote some of this stuff down. What am I looking at here? Oh, this was the throwback game tonight, the 90s theme. It was actually a alumni weekend, not just for them, for the women's basketball team as well. So I had a lot of people invited back. I think one person I saw was Lance Weems, I think, who used to hold the 3-point record before Bryce Brown took it, who is the father of Presley Weems, former Auburn track and field cross country star. So that was really cool to see the bucket hats tonight. They've come out before and all the different logos and stuff. I really regretted not coming to Auburn this weekend, even though I didn't have a ticket, just to experience some of those things like the little pop-up shop and things like that. We've already mentioned kind of the spottiness of Flanagan and kind of the turnover situation, but also what he's contribute scoring wise. It kind of negates itself at this point. We're kind of in a situation with Allen right now, in my opinion. He's reaching KD level where he's doing so much for you that you kind of, at least I feel like you can negate some of the other mistakes that he's happened. It's almost for now like they flip-flop. KD's not doing so much statistically, points and things like that. And so his mistakes kind of rise to the surface a little bit more. Whereas Allen's, I think, can get covered up a little bit more. And we'll see if that flip-flops or maybe they both stay where they are. I do want to I want to reiterate this. How much we were lucky tonight that they struggled shooting. I think this Mississippi State team, after I've watched them play, I clearly see they have talent. Tonight for them, Toulouse Smith with 20 points, Jeffries with 12, Davis with 13. Really, it was Jeffries and Smith most of the night. Kind of the opposite situation for Auburn tonight, where we had a bunch of guys contribute in heavy numbers. This stat line that I'm looking at right now with Mississippi State would kind of mirror Auburn earlier in the season with some of the offensive struggles that we're having, but you can still see the talent there. So I don't know what's going to happen with Mississippi State the rest of the season. They got off to a good non-conference start, but I do think that this is one that'll look very good on our resume, even though it's a home game. Usually you want to have those type of wins on the road. But I'm not complaining about it whatsoever, because we got to every win that you can get in the SEC this year, you have to take. If you don't, you're going to put yourself in a bad situation come March time. Devin's already wanting to get in the stats. We're going to get there in just a second. Should have brought back 90s throwback jerseys for this game. I thought they shared something online that they were going to do that. I really thought they did. I didn't pay attention to the aesthetics tonight. That's not my area. That's Clint Richardson's area. So I normally let him figure that out. Toulouse was dominant in the paint. I guess he is a veteran though, with 4 years experience, 6'11", some size. Yeah, he was very, very impressive tonight. He'll probably be all SEC first or second, at the end of this thing when we're all said and done. Let's see here. Player of the night, we've already discussed that a little bit. Jalen Williams. I think you can try to make a case for me tonight that it's somebody other than Jalen Williams, but it's Jalen Williams. All right, real quick look back through here on my storylines, and then we'll hit some of the stats. We talked about Toulouse Smith. Oh, the 2 games in a row we got 2 backcourt, or excuse me, 10-second violations. So for those of you that don't understand the nuance, most of you do, I think, but I'll assume somebody out there doesn't. When you inbound the ball after a made basket, you have to get it across half court in 10 seconds. But that doesn't mean throwing it across. Somebody from your team must touch it within 10 seconds. That's across half court. So that's why that was against us this time. So it's not a big concern, but that's 2 games in a row that's happened. That's definitely something I bet, I'm not going to suggest, because I bet Bruce noticed that before I even did, that they'll need to work on in practice this week. Yes, Honey Badger. Well, let's start there since we like to walk through the stats tonight. We'll start with Zep Jasper. He's not someone we've talked about tonight yet. What I continue to love time and time again this season is watching Zep Jasper get rewarded for doing the little things. And when I say rewarded, I mean, I'm talking about offensively. Now, he's not scoring, probably more than 7 points in a good night. He only gets 3 tonight, but he's knocking him down a lot better and more consistently this year when he gets them, and his teammates are trusting those opportunities more to him because he still continues to do his closeout speed on defense and transition. Very impressive. There's a reason they call him the Honey Badger. This defense is good in and of itself, but it takes a big drop off if Zep Jasper isn't a part of the squad. So always want to reiterate guys like that. I don't think we have peaked yet, which is good. Always want to peak near the end. Yeah, that's the normal kind of storyline that everybody kind of talks about. You definitely do want to peak more towards the end. We are, for now, on the rise. So let's hope that becomes a slow build if we're going to follow that line of thinking, a slow build, and then we'll eventually, hopefully, peak at the right time at the very end of this thing. Justin Hokinson, I'm assuming this is who you're talking about. Mississippi State is 5 for 54 from 3 in the last 4 meetings against Auburn. Does that include home and away? Wow, even at their place? That's pretty sad. That's pretty bad. Yeah, Walker Kessler and Jabari Smith had great nights last night too. So it's just this weekend so far has been a great basketball weekend. Now, if Auburn women's basketball can go down to number 5 LSU and get an upset tomorrow, I might just call best weekend of the year so far, which is really easy to do since there's been 2 of them. Well, technically 2.5 of them. All right. Back to the stats real quick, and then y'all keep your comments and questions coming here. We talked about Wendell tonight. Here's your point breakdown for everybody, individual scores. Wendell 17, Jalen 21, Broom 6, Jasper 3, Alan Flanagan 10 tonight. I thought he had a little bit more than that, but those were a crucial 10 that we really needed. Katie with 5, Trey and Yawan 0 points, Leor Berman with his 3 points. He had a beautiful little short range jumper there off the dribble that he made. Really impressed by him. And Dylan Cardwell, again, the beneficiary of finding himself, I shouldn't say finding himself at the right place at the right time, because he's putting himself in position to be the beneficiary of people finding him in the lane. Can we all just talk about that Jalen Williams pass? No look from the 3-point arc, zipping it in down there. Wow. That is Jalen Williams doing Jalen Williams thing. I'm not even talking about the 3-pointers tonight. That is Jalen Williams doing Jalen Williams thing. Looking over the individual stats, trying to see if there's any points on them that I wanted to hit or not. Obviously, Alan Flanagan started tonight over Chris Moore, who's still dealing with his injury. The reporter or the commentator tonight said 10 days. I don't know if that started from when he hurt himself or today he meant 10 days. I pretty much knew we weren't going to see him today. And if best case scenario would have been limited in the midweek game, but it sounds like it may be next weekend. Excuse me. By the time we're getting a good look at Chris Moore. But how nice is it to see guys like Leor Berman, guys like Alan Flanagan benefiting from that. You never want to have that be the reason you're benefiting, but at least they're taking advantage of it. So very happy for them. Very, very happy for them. All right, let's see here. What are you guys saying? Until they mentioned it, I didn't realize MSU's coach was the same coach that almost ended our Final Four run before it started. Yes. So the SEC continues to draw in attention from coaches wanting to be a part of this league. Buzz Williams, who's been here for a while now, but, Kermit Davis, Rick Barnes from Tennessee. Has been, most of these have been here for a while, but the SEC is not just attracting talent, it's attracting some of the best coaches. This is a basketball conference just as much as it is a football conference. 11 made threes tonight is the most all season. Is that true, Leighton? Is that true? Sadly, Bingo, we will have them again. Was Bingo your name-o? That was lame. I'm sorry. I had to say it, though. That was a dad joke, and I'm not even a dad yet. All right. Let me go back to the stats. I got too many tabs open right now. So many things to talk about tonight. All right. We talked about the individual stats. Let's walk through some of the team stats that we haven't mentioned tonight. See if that brings any other points that we need to mention from this game. 44% from the field for Auburn. 44% from the three-point arc. Incredible. 77% from the free throw line. Again, this is where everybody rolls their eyes at Kyle. 80% is where you need to be. I'll take it since we've yet to do that this season. No, did we do that last game? I can't remember. Yeah, we did. I think we did last game. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we hit 80% last week. But before that, 79% was the highest that we would. So if we're hitting like 77 to almost 80, I'm probably going to just be like, fine, I'll give it to you. But 80% is my mark personally where you should be as a free throw shooting team because they're free for a reason. Looking at since we're talking about that, the big three stats that I always want to pay attention to that somehow usually determine the win. Not always the case. Free throws, we won that battle just barely. Turnovers tonight, 16-20. Auburn loses that battle. It's not as big of a difference as I thought it would be there. There was 2 turnovers at the end of the game there, so it probably would have been almost a push in that situation. Rebounds tonight, Mississippi State beats us too. So this is a case where those stats do not indicate who wins the matchup because we only won 1 out of 3 of those situations. But because of some other situations, we were able to win the game. It's one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the nation. Tonight they were. They were the worst, I'm sure. I don't know that there's another team out there that shot 0% from the three-point. I wonder what their three-point shooting is for the rest of the season, if this was just a complete fluke. One thing I forgot to mention, and it's sad to talk about this, but Janai Broome was on the cusp of meeting history of, was it going to be 5 double-doubles in a row? And was not able to do that tonight, which is sad to realize. Only 6 points and 4 rebounds for him tonight, but they really, really negated him from the situation. All right. Second chance points tonight, 17 for Mississippi. The more you look at the stats for Mississippi State and just think and talk about the game, the more you realize how fortunate Auburn is tonight that their shots didn't start falling from the three-point arc. With their second chance points, having better turnover situation than us, having a good enough, better rebound situation than us. They were just a hair away from things going right from them to get the win on the road here, and would have been a good quad 1 win for them. Bench points tonight are about the same. Points in the paint, 40-24. Wow, that was what we did to Arkansas. Who was it this week? Ole Miss. That's what we did to Ole Miss. They had more blocks. We had more steals tonight. Assists. We won in that category. So really, if you want to point out the stat of the game, always looking for that one big one that probably determined the outcome of this game. We've already talked about it. It's the three-point shooting percentage tonight for Mississippi State, 0%. That's it. I think that's the difference in the game if you really want to get down to it. Obviously, more things affect the game than that. But if you really want to pinpoint one thing, 0% from the three-point arc on Mississippi State's part. That was it. WT, need to work on our defensive rebounding. We gave too many second and third shots. Agreed. State zone defense really gave us trouble getting inside. And I think it's more than just their zone defense. They had a concentrated effort on negating Janai Broom from the game plan tonight and did a good job at that. So you could almost make the case that in and of itself almost helped them win the game too. 30% on the season from the three-point arc. Well, that's a far cry from 0% tonight. Thank you, Cool Luke, for getting their clarification on that. All right, we're sitting at 30 minutes. We're not going to go just yet. Go ahead and get your final comments and questions ready. Start rolling those in right now so we can hit those rapid fire here, though. Let me give you what to expect here next on E2C Network, the next things that you can't expect. By the way, we had a recruit tonight, a transfer commit to the Tigers. The linebacker, we will have a video for you tomorrow about that. I am unsure of the exact time. Probably lunch-ish is what I'm thinking, since I'm hoping, never mind, I won't bring that up. But hopefully that'll be around lunchtime tomorrow. We'll have a video out for you for that. So please check that out. But if you're interested in our next scheduled live stream, that is tomorrow night, 9 Eastern time, the Auburn Experience Show. It's our flagship podcast and show for everything the E2C Network does across social media, YouTube, podcast, all that. It's about sports. It's about our culture, and our family. Episode 19. Don't miss the live recording. You get a little extra special stuff there because we hang out and chat with people before and after the show. You need to subscribe if you're not, so you can make sure you're part of that giveaway. Check out the links in the description for ways you can help support our content here at E2C Network, channel membership program, booster club, all that kind of stuff. You can drop super chats down there. You can do PayPal, TeePublic store. But really, all you need to do is just be here, hang out with me, spend some time talking with all of us, and smashing the like button if you have not done that, because you guys are the best little family within the Auburn family. All right, final commentary here. WT, what's the over-under on commits transfer videos this week? Gosh, I don't know. So normally I only keep it within what we're talking about on the show, but just because I saw this, I hope it's just, let me rephrase that. I hope we get everything that we need to get, but I just would really like a little bit of breathing room on videos for commits and stuff. LSU getting smacked by Bama today by 40 is scary for us going to Baton Rouge on Wednesday. To whoever brought it up earlier, about the point about basketball seems to have this correlation with peaking at the right time or not. So you could make the case that they're peaking too soon. They look like a good team. Right now, they appear like the best team in the SEC. Not going to take that away from them. We get an opportunity to show that's not true coming up in the near future. We'll see what happens then. Hopefully we can get the turnovers figured out soon. That is, well, we had that under control. If you watch the trend, I believe it was from Florida. So that would be Georgia, Arkansas to Ole Miss. We had a good trend there, and that kind of flip-flopped back. So that was not something that we continue tonight, but it has been something that's obviously been addressed at least once this season. Corey, I've seen that email. I am so sorry that I haven't gotten back to you, and I will get back to you on that, but I've seen that. I'll respond to that email. Glad you like those videos. Another one coming up soon. All right, guys. Good show tonight. Good crowd. Love seeing your smiling faces virtually here. And always enjoy getting to talk to you about something related to Auburn sports or otherwise. And being with you, our little E2C family, our little small, close-knit family within the Auburn family. Hope to see you guys tomorrow night on the Auburn Experience podcast live stream at 9 Eastern time. If I don't see you then, I'll see you soon. Until then, my friends, War Eagle.